Hey up, good buddies, how are you doing? Mr. Poshok here, swimming back to give you a teensy-weensy review of a new action, horror, puzzle, top-down, side-scrolling, gloomy, weird, stylish and dark new game from Angie Games and Top Hat Studios. Now, this is something slightly outside of my usual board of fare, but has definitely stuck with me thanks to its trial and error combat, simple but recording puzzles, and distinctive art style. This is Silly Polly Beast. Now, first things first, bear with me a little bit on this one, guys. My voice might sound a little odd. I think I'm coming down with a bit of a cold, so my voice might be a little skew with through the course of this review. Now, thanks to Top Hat Studios for reaching out and providing an early review copy for Silly Polly Beast, and for the purposes of remaining spoiler free, this review will not show any gameplay from beyond around chapter 2 of the game's story, and everything here was captured on a PS5. Now, telling the story of the extremely unlucky Polly, Silly Polly Beast focuses on the aftermath of Polly escaping from their orphanage, having apparently burnt it to the ground. Seeking to reunite with her sister, she falls into a well and finds herself in a shadowy otherworldly realm and in service to an enigmatic, ethereal creature called Tormented, forging an accord with the morally questionable being for mutually agreed escape. Now, what follows is a series of connected corridors and rooms, pushing the narrative and gameplay forward. Each corridor or room is separated by a brief black screen, and therefore feels disconnected, but you can generally travel freely between them, giving this game a feel of like a restricted Metroidvania. Some rooms are bigger than others, but each one serves as a micro puzzle to be solved, be it to eliminate each enemy in the room, destroy barriers, or flip switches. Some even require leaving the room and returning later with an item or knowledge from a later room. The game makes clever use of its modest resources, but can't quite stretch itself to accommodate certain animations. Even small ladders have a quick fade to black teleport, rather than a climbing animation, and generally some of Polly's and the enemy's range of motion can be a bit clunky, but that's neither here nor there. Combat has a much bigger focus than I was expecting, with various weapons, strategies and items. Basic melees handled with Polly's skateboard, which initially can handle a 3-hit combo before her stamina runs out. Our Demolver Revolver, I love that name, initially holds 6 rounds and is weaker than you would think, but gives the gift of range. Combined with secondary weapons like the shotgun, healing items, a dodge roll and larvae grenade, you have numerous options for taking out the denizens of this bleak underworld. Or so you would think. Resource management is critical in Silly Polly Beast. Many times I've faced an uphill battle because I've used a grenade or secondary ammo a bit too flamboyantly in a previous room, only to be faced with a greater challenge and have nothing left, or have burned through my healing items and been forced to attempt a really hard room, basically hitless, before I could try and restock. Make no mistakes, in terms of resources, this game is a survival horror disguised as an action puzzler. And the horror comes through in what is the absolute star of this title, the world and the art style. This is a very strange, very otherworldly and very dark place. The themes on display can be grim, the characters can be helpful, or they can be awful. The world is literally out to get you when shadowy hands reach out from the gloom, and things here really do go bump in the night. Everything has this strange, unsettling drabness, and the colour palette really sells this feeling of the underworld, but also is contrasted by lots of amazing artwork in the form of flashbacks and graffiti, and it has this really colourful punk rock aesthetic to balance out the utter terribleness of everything else. The soundtrack is equally good, and somewhat surprising, having the expected eerie, sombre, creepy vibes, to be suddenly punctuated by what sounds to be Doom Eternal's surprise sequel album, with heavy beats and rock overtures amping up the combat. For a small game, from a small studio. It does a lot to carve out a personality for itself. Polly being a literal silent protagonist with her being mute, communicating through her phone screen is a great touch. She conveys emotion through her facial expressions, which are demonstrated through some fantastic artwork. And it offers a good few hours of surprisingly high challenge for less than 20 quid. Definitely worth putting this one on your radar, as by the time this video releases, the game should be available for Steam, Xbox and PlayStation 5. Now, this game is a bit outside of what I would normally cover. I struggled with this one a bit because I don't have a frame of reference to it. I don't have other games to compare this to. But I found myself enjoying it because every room is this little thinking puzzle. I have so many enemies to defeat, or I need to get to X location. And I just found that, combined with how bleak and creepy this world is, but how much I'm rooting for Polly to reunite with her sister, the main focus of the story, I felt myself just getting dragged along, going, no, I need to see how this plays out. So honestly, would recommend it. Solid 7.5 out of 10. Great game. So, as always, thank you very much. Really appreciate you taking the time. And usual stuff, check out my Twitch, subscribe here, all that jazz, and razamataz. I'll see yous next time. Take care. Cheerio.